All right, everybody, get in here. We have got so much freedom to disperse. This is going to take all of our efforts collectively to cut through the propaganda and show you what's really going on. This one is going to be a banger. I almost guarantee it. Straight up men's warehouse style. If you guys are enjoying the content, you want to join us in our quest to not only preserve the freedoms and liberties of this generation, but go on to the next one as well. Set them up for a supreme, excellent adventure of their own lives. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are but solely focused on the freedom and liberty of this country, which requires destroying the propaganda of which you are under every single day. So as we get in here, like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Guys, we're going to go through a show right now that you are going to absolutely love because the Democrats found a magic again. It's really impressive. And I'm going to walk you through the entire thing. You're going to love every second of it. And remember, you guys are all deputized. When those lefties wander in, as is clearly a symptom of the growth of the views and the subscriptions that we have had over the last 5 to 6 months, it also attracts some lefties. So when they wander in the chat, you are deputized to handle your designated arenas and battle stations. Politely, please, but still show them the light because we have attracted all the moths to the greatest flame in the universe, America. And that's what we're going to do. All right. So you guys remember chats, comments, and emojis make the world go round. I'm loving the emojis, the hearts, the chats already. And audio and video is good. So we are going to put our post in. Chats, comments, emojis. I can't really type and talk at the same time. Make the world go around. I spelled it wrong, but I don't even care. Today is a day of whoopsies. That's okay. It is pinned. Let's get off to the races. All right, beautiful bastions of freedom. Wherever you are in the incredible nation, we are going to talk about something that I find amazing. This is somewhere between a stage magician and like that animated movie of Frosty. Remember that where like the hat rolled around and like that old creepy like 1950s like style character, animated enemy villain guy. Yeah, that's somewhere. We're somewhere in that realm. Let me know if you guys know what I'm talking about or I'm not just crazy. All right, here we go. The magic. Guys, if you didn't think magic was real, it's here. I'm not going to play the audio because we've kind of like seen this ad nauseum, but do you guys remember this whole situation? I don't remember what it was. It was something, it was like something about the universe ending and something about, oh my goodness gracious, what could have happened to make this such a foreign thing where it's just not got jettisoned? I mean, it's almost like it, poof. I don't know what could have happened, but they aren't talking about this anymore, are they? Remember how I told you the second that this video came out, they were just going to abracadabra this and just go, poof, and it wasn't going to happen? Yeah, magically, this isn't on any of the shows or talking or anything. I tell you what, there must have been some magic in that old hat they found because, goodness gracious, just poof, didn't exist, doesn't happen. Well, I'm going to keep on going with you guys on this one because we're on to something. There's some magic, and like I told you, you're going to love this because it's not just this. Although this is interesting, I want to show you some other magic that is also happening here. I got a super chat from Gail Chambers, $1.99. Thank you very much for the super chat, Gail. Let's keep on trucking. Now, this is another piece of magic that they must have found in that old silk hat. Jeffries' office. That's Hakeem Jeffries. That's like the leader of the Democrats in the House. That's like the guy, right? Jeffries' office has advised House Democrats not to fly to Minnesota, per Axios. Now, why would they not fly to Minnesota? Do you guys remember all the virtue signal videos that we had of all the Democrats going to ICE facilities and filming themselves get the doors shut right in their faces, which, while satisfying, did still happen everywhere? You had anybody in the Democrat going to go do their oversight due diligence by walking into an ICE facility and then getting refused and then making a big deal about the fact that they're a member of Congress and they were refused. You know, that whole game. Well, for some reason, I can't put my finger on it. They don't want them to do that in Minnesota. Quote, visiting the state right now, although well-intentioned, puts a burden on local resources. Huh. Now, why would that be a concern for national Democrats? There's obviously virtue to be harvested. Why would they not go? I mean, it is rife for videos and manipulation. Why would they not do it? Maybe because this right here ruined any type of national branding opportunity that they have, because that's what it's about. When the optics turn from innocent victims slain by overbearing government to insane agitator constantly agitating and aggressively assaulting ICE, all of a sudden it magically doesn't bear political fruit anymore. So maybe we just distance ourselves from this one. Guys, I'm telling you, that's what it is. That's exactly what's happening. Guys, don't go there right now. Just have we talked about anything else? Like, I'm sure we can rustle something else up. There's no reason to go that. You don't want to put the burden on local authorities. Okay. Wink. All right. Now let's just keep on going. Maybe there's some more. Oh my God, there's an Axios article. Would you look at what we have found? Goodness gracious. I tell you what, wonders never cease. The House Democrats told by leadership not to go to Minnesota. Gail Chambers says she's just here for the mistakes. Listen, she's referring to the correction video that I put out about 3 hours ago. If you haven't seen it, please see it. But that's how we move. It's how we roll on this channel. So it's part of the realism. Sometimes I make boo-boos. I'll always tell you. Okay, let's keep going. House Democrats have been privately advised by their leadership not to travel to Minnesota in support of anti-ICE protests there. It's almost like they don't want the optics for the Republicans constantly to do ad campaigns with Democrats standing in the riot lines with all the protesters who are getting arrested by police officers in Minnesota after Tim Walz bent over the proverbial barrel. Yeah, it's weird, but it's about resources, guys. Resources. Because you know what the Democrats are known for on these streets? Fiscal responsibility. That's what they're here for. That's what they're... No, they're not. They don't want to get caught getting bad PR. Anyway, but in an email to Democratic congressional offices dated Monday, a copy of which was obtained by Axios, a senior staffer for House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries urged members to remain in their districts for security reasons. First it was financial, now it's security. Okay. In speaking with the Minnesota delegation offices and the governor's team, it became clear that the best thing for the members to do right now is support their Minnesota colleagues by participating in days of action in their home districts this week, the staffer wrote. Okay, translation for political BS. Don't get caught on camera being there. Do whatever you want, virtue signal over here, where you're not going to be in a riot line where Republicans can't make never-ending ad campaigns against you. So if we could go ahead and just keep you in your home districts where you're not getting caught on camera with the rioters, that would be swell. Abracadabra, it never happened. These are not the droids you're looking for. How many more references in pop culture you want? Because that's what you're seeing. Because I promise you, if this was politically rife and it wasn't a bunch of really crazy defund ICE, defund politicians, defund politicians, okay. Defund police, defund ICE, they'd be there. But they realize the far left radicals have taken over that whole thing, so they don't want their politicians anywhere near it for a photo op. Oh my goodness gracious, let's keep on going. These people are so easy to read, it's ridiculous. Visiting the state right now, although well-intentioned, puts a burden on local resources and does not support our colleagues. The city and the state government, local law enforcement, and most importantly, the people of Minneapolis. If you smell that or you hear that alarm, you stepped in a pile of BS, and that's the BS detector going off. Not my smoke alarm, which also happens sometimes. It's a cornucopia of whatever happens on this channel. Especially on the live streams. Everything else I can kind of control. Live streams, it's just, we're in this together. But, honest to goodness, am I over the target on this? Let me know in the comments, the chats, the emojis. They do make the world go round. Remember, you alone can make the notification bell get up off his butt on his mom's couch in his mom's basement and actually go out and do something once the Tostitos crumbs are off of his chest. All right, listen, people. I think I'm onto something there, but that's not all I've got for you. Right now, we have culminated in the appetizer for our shows, in our 4-course meal. And actually, I think it actually is 1, 2, 3. It's actually 4 courses. We got 4 different sections in this live stream. Much to do, so little time to do it. But I hope you guys are enjoying every second of this. I hope you feel like you have taken part, an active part in saving our country every single episode. Everything is sourced in the description box below, not only for your referencing, but also so I can avoid making retraction videos like I did earlier today. I'm going to beat myself up out of that one for a while. But anyway, it's part of being human, right? Now what we're going to go into is something that I am particularly cherishing. This part I really, really, really love. And the reason why I love it so much is because I'm going to tell you some things that no one else is going to tell you. I'm going to source it. And I'm going to show you all these different things. All of these things are what the Democrats are afraid of. You want to know why they're afraid of getting their pictures taken with all these rioters that look like this? You want to know why? The reason's real simple. It's right here. They realize what's actually happening to their entire brand. Look, watch this. This is the domestic migration. This is American citizens moving from point A to point B. Let me just point some things out for you. Trump won all the top 10, where all the population is going towards, and Kamala Harris lost, excuse me, the bottom 10, where the population is like, I'm out. Let me just run through them real quick. In the plus column, and by the way, make a special note how many of these are swing states. North Carolina, Texas, South Carolina, Tennessee, Arizona, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Idaho, Nevada. Man, that's a lot of swing states. Bottom 10, Connecticut, Hawaii, Colorado, Maryland, Louisiana, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Illinois, New York, California. All but one of those are deep blue states. In fact, that's all the deep blue states, with the exception of Louisiana, and that's a whole different reason. I'm close geographically to Louisiana, and that's a different problem. But anyway, that's what you're looking at right now. Their entire brand is looked at as, ugh. They're an eye roll. No one likes them. Honest to God. Even Democrats don't like them. The big problem that they have is not convincing independents to join the Democrats. The big problem they have is the far left is annoyed at the middle left, and the middle left is annoyed at the far left. That's what you're looking at right now. There's a reason that the population actively leaves all of their states and actively goes to the other side states. I mean, like, if you needed any more evidence of this, I don't know how else to make it clear. Oh, yes, I do. There's even more tabs. Let's continue on. It's Saturday night. I've got to treat you guys right. All right. This one I found particularly interesting. And if you're not following me on X at Braden LOA, you have to wait until our 9 p.m. live stream to get some of these goodnesses. But if you just followed me on X, you'd know about this a couple hours ago. All right. So this map, Braden, I hear you already. Why are you talking about... I'm grabbing my drink like I'm going to drink something in the middle of talking. That's not going to happen. Why are you talking about an electoral college map? We are 3 years out from the electoral college. Only the lefties are talking about that. The hopium and the copium on that one's hard. Yeah, you're right. But I want to show you something. And this is all about that electoral college map. Remember the thing I've been telling you about consistently? The one thing, the big specter on the horizon that the Democrats literally they're terrified of? They don't get any sleep because they know it's coming. It's kind of like that scene in Star Wars where the Death Star is going around the planet. It's like 5 minutes till planet clear. Yeah, this is 2030 for the Democrats, okay? What you're looking at here, and I want to really drive this home, so let me hear you in the comments and the chat that make sure that I am correct on this. Well, not correct on this. Make sure I am landing the plane on this, because I want to show you this middle part of the country. This is really important. Do you notice anything very fascinating about if the Democrats won every single blue wall state that was required, Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton? You'll notice here, right? So they win Virginia, and this is all hypothetical, right? This is after the 2030 apportionment, which means electoral college votes shift around. They win Virginia, they win Pennsylvania, they win Michigan, they win Wisconsin, and they win Minnesota. That is the blue wall. They call it the blue wall because if they get all those states, they can't lose. Well, that was before the apportionment, because now, even if they get every single state that's in the blue wall, including the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, which was all the rage the last 4 elections, they lose the election. Again, let me drive that home really clear so you guys know things that no one else does. If you lose Arizona as a team blue, which they just lost, and Nevada, by the way, also went red this last election. If they get Minnesota, it's kind of you kind of seen what's going on in Minnesota. They're going to get Minnesota. They get Wisconsin, they get Michigan, they get Pennsylvania. The blue wall, if that thing holds, they still lose. What that means is they have to pick off either a North Carolina, heavily red, a Georgia, red, or a Arizona, red. So what I'm showing you right now is literally the Death Star for the Democrats coming right around that planet. I think it was Yavin. Might have been Yavin. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the planet. I like Star Wars. But Honest to God, this is what you're looking at. This is what they're so afraid of. This is why they have all of their little foot soldiers in the streets. This is why they're losing their minds and their rhetoric is going to an 18 level out of 1 to 10. It's because they know this is coming, right? And by the way, just for another little part of this, Pennsylvania went red, Michigan's gone red, Wisconsin's gone red, and Virginia was right on the cusp. So this is in a scenario opposite of what happened in this previous election. This is in their best case scenario. Uh-oh. This is why I tell you, you are winning more than you possibly know, because these are the things that no one will tell you, particularly on the lefties, because they are terrified of this. Now, here's the big thing I'll tell you about this, and we're going to go on to the next tab. None of this happens unless you vote like you're losing, you act like you're losing, you share like you're losing, and you watch and you engage like you're losing. We leave everything on the field. I'm going to show you things and the potential you have to make come true, but it only happens if you activate. And what you're looking at right now is quite literally the Death Star of the Democrat Party coming in 2032. That's the first election. Actually, technically, 2030 would technically be the midterm election that they're going to get on this first. It's going to be painful. I mean, I'm here for it, but it's going to be painful. And I'm just going to keep on just going, all right? All right, here we go. We got some super chats to get to real quick. Paul Hull with a $10 super chat said, saw a report that 4,000 ballots in Fulton County went through one ballot scanner in 1 minute, not a second. 4,000 in a minute. Not sure of the provenance of this report. I am also not sure of that, but I would be honest with you. I would not be surprised, living in Georgia a very long time of my life and also knowing Fulton County, which is where the Atlanta seat of power is. I would not be shocked if a water pipe didn't magically bust. Just saying. Anyway, got another super chat for Yetter6242, $2. By God's grace, Pennsylvania will be solid red very soon. It's heading that way. It's absolutely heading this way. Oh, we have our resident lefty. I'm going to give her hold on, Autumn. I need to get a title. Private Sergeant? I don't know, Corporal? I don't know. You need something. You need some sort of title. Corporal Autumn. Private Autumn. I don't know. We'll work on it. You're going to get some sort of rank. But Autumn's here, our designated lefty. I'm telling you, that's fine. You could all make fun of it all you want. I'm showing you exactly what's coming. So just keep on coming. And this is another little piece to this. Again, that was in a scenario where they win everything. This is the current scenario with the generic ballot. +1 for Democrats. That is literally +1 for Republicans. The generic ballot is biased towards Republicans. In the 2018 election, the first midterm with Trump and Trump 1.0, yeah, it was +7 to +14. Now it's +1. Doing great work. All right, let's keep on trucking. Let's keep on going, guys. We've got freedom to distribute. I don't even need a break. I don't even need one, because this next part I'm real excited about. No, I'm going to do a break. Come here. We need to set this up. It's not even for me. It's for you guys. We got to set this up together. We're going to have an amazing little segment here, because this one brings home some real hard realities. And I love really, really good realities that just demolish a good narrative. So one of the things that we talked about today is something around the whole ICE scenario in Minnesota, when the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, went forward and said he was going to stop those pesky ICE officers, and he, as a state Attorney General, was going to sue the federal government and say, you can't do that. Well, a Biden-appointed federal judge just said, sit down, shut up, Keith. Yes, they can. Because preliminary injunction was denied. And for all my 2A people, you guys know how big of a deal that is. Okay? It's a big deal. But now, I'm going to show you something else to set this up properly. Attorney General Pam Bondi, another huge Justice Department legal win in Minnesota. Just now, a Biden-appointed district judge denied Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison's attempt to keep ICE out of Minnesota. And this is the big payoff right here. Everybody's going to love this, especially those lefties. Neither sanctuary policies nor meritless litigation will stop the Trump administration from enforcing federal law in Minnesota. And this is the thing that I wanted to say on this for the prior 2 videos I did. But we were talking about something else. The thing that no one wants to tell anybody, right? This is the underlying secret. This is the canary in the coal mine. This is whatever. This is the big thing, right? The Biden administration, they didn't pass much legislation because it was a split Congress and they couldn't get Republicans to go along. Now, Trump is in power. It's a split Congress And by that, I mean the Senate. The Senate still has the filibuster in place. The exact same thing that stopped Joe Biden is the exact same thing that's going to stop Donald Trump. That's the design of the entire operation. Everything that you've seen so far, with the exception of the one big beautiful bill, has all been through the executive branch. Now, why is that important? Come here, I'm going to tell you why it's important. The reason that's important is because no matter what they do, in a worst case scenario, and this is speaking to Private Autumn and the people who would wander in, because I'm going to educate you real quick. No matter what you did, no matter what you do, if you take the House, congratulations, the Senate will not vote to impeach Donald Trump. They will not remove him. So you're going to do the impeachment all you want. It's going to be impeach this, impeach that to your own detriment. Meanwhile, the executive branch is going to continue to carry on because you also don't have any of the votes to impeach Kristi Noem or Pete Hegseth, any of the cabinet members. The real harsh reality is they're trying to lobby for power to have the House just because they want power in the House. They aren't going to pass any more legislation the same way they didn't pass it under the Biden administration and the same way they only did the Trump administration's one big beautiful bill through the reconciliation process. This is the whole big secret. The left is telling them, that all the lefties, that if they just get the House, they're going to stop Donald Trump. No, they're not. Because this is all executive branch action. Again, I would like to bring you up to all of the things that have happened recently, from immigration to Venezuela to Iran, all of it. From the inflation data, from all the small business stuff, everything. All of it's happened executive, with the exception of the one big beautiful bill, which is going to cut taxes across the board for significant groups of people. So all the pipe dreams that the left is selling is not going to stop what they think it's going to stop. And that's best case scenario. But anyway, we're going to keep on grinding. We're probably going to prevent that once the SCOTUS makes that little decision they've got coming this year. But more on that later. Here is the actual CNN report lamenting the fact that, oh my God, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, actually has power to enforce and support executive actions underneath an executive bureaucracy, which is underneath the executive branch, and he's the head of the executive branch. I'm just going to play this here. I'll get a beverage while you guys do that. Here, watch this.
Including just into CNN, a federal judge ruling today the immigration crackdown in Minnesota, dubbed Operation Metro Surge, can continue. Now, the decision follows weeks of escalating tensions and protests over the shooting deaths of Minneapolis residents Renee Good and Alex Preddy by federal agents. Minnesota, St. Paul, and Minneapolis sued federal officials, calling their immigration enforcement operation a federal invasion involving warrantless arrest and excessive force. I want to bring in CNN's Julia Benbrook live from the White House for.
We're just going to pause that for a second, just to let us all soak it in, like the rays of the sun. They sued him, saying that it was a federal invasion of Minnesota by federal law enforcement officers. The judge said, no, it's not. Go back to sleep or the whiskey jar. Stop drinking. I mean, honest to God, how many more pieces of evidence do you need to show that this is well within the power of the president of the United States? A Biden-appointed federal judge just said that. Not a Trump-appointed judge, not a Clinton, not a Bush. A Biden-appointed federal judge just said that. Because it's clear as crystal. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's not factual. Okay? CNN is like, we got to say it. I mean, sure, we did say it was an invasion, and sure, Tim Walz did bend over a barrel, proverbially. And sure, we did say it was really, really unconstitutional and he was being a tyrant. But a federal judge just said, no, he's not. No, they're not. No, you're not. And you're wrong. Just saying. All right, let's keep on going. Maybe they got more for us. Guys, let me hear you in the comments, the chats, the emojis. I'm loving all the hearts I'm seeing. I will love each and every one of you. Just thread them out. Let's keep it going. We've got a country to save. Freedom. Go.
So, Julia, what more can you tell us about the judge's ruling here?
Yeah, well, as you detailed there, Omar, the judge said that Operation Metro Surge can continue to take place in Minnesota. And this is after weeks of escalating tensions there, and as we are seeing protests across the country take place this weekend. Now, earlier this month, the state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities sued federal officials, saying that the law enforcement operation there, the immigration enforcement operation there, was a federal invasion. And they said that it was involving warrantless arrest and excessive forces. Now, this also comes as really the face of the administration's response to all of this. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, her future in the administration is being questioned by many. Important to note here, though, that President Donald Trump himself is defending her at this point.
Now, this is an interesting piece to this because I want to I want to show you and highlight something. You guys probably have already seen this multiple times, but I want to highlight something. The amazing way that it shifts, like literally, the narrative always shifts. And I'm just going to jump over here real quick. Because over here, before the magic trip, like what's behind the curtain? Ha-ha! Nothing's behind the curtain. Poof, gone. It didn't happen. That's memory hold. And then, of course, the Democrats distancing themselves and bailing on that. But then this other piece right here, which is what we're watching, it's always a shifting goalpost. Always, never ending. And that's how you know they're losing, because when they move on from something, it just means it doesn't bear political fruit anymore. So originally it was Minnesota is going to stop them because people are rising up, and so is the AG, and so is the governor, and so is the mayor of Minneapolis. By the way, you haven't heard much of that little soy boy recently, have you? Governor Walz is like, mum's the word. They're calling him literally a, quote, fascist collaborator online right now. So that shifted. Then it became, well, the AG, the Attorney General Keith Ellison, who's knee-deep in the fraud accusations from the whole, Minnesota fraud situation. He sued the federal government and said that ICE is invading and they're doing all these terrible things. It's all unconstitutional. And then the federal judge, who was appointed by Biden, goes, no, they're not. And now it's shifting to, but there is rumor, there is scuttlebutt that Kristi Noem is on the chopping block. Literally, guys, they just want some sort of win. It's all political. That's why it keeps on shifting every 3 seconds. All right, let's keep on going. Hopefully I can highlight some more of these things for you. CNN at the White House, go.
Now, just a few days ago here at the White House, we did see Trump host his first cabinet meeting of the year. This is the 10th cabinet meeting of his second term. And as reporters on this beat, we have become accustomed to seeing him go around the table. He calls on the secretaries in his administration. They give updates on what their departments are doing. They often praise his work as well. He did start off that meeting saying that he wasn't going to call on everyone. This was going to be a little bit shorter. But with so much going on in her department right now, I think a lot of people were looking to see what she had to say. And he did skip over her. Trump himself did not take questions during that cabinet meeting either, which is also highly unusual. He did take to Truth Social last night to...
All right, you guys get the idea, right? Oh my God, they didn't talk to Kristi Noem. Did you catch they didn't talk to Kristi Noem? How could they not talk to Kristi Noem? Oh man, I think I missed something. That's okay. We'll keep on going. I'll catch it on the other end, or I'll just do a random search at the end of this. Maybe we'll peruse the most powerful thing on the internet, X, and see what happened. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is what I was going to talk about. By the way, if you guys think I missed something that's going on, please tell me. Tell me what I missed. Autumn lost her chick. Did we lose Autumn? Private Autumn? Oh, man. You hate to see it. We were right in the middle of educating her. All right. So this is really important. The court pauses to observe what it is not deciding. At this stage, the court makes no final determination on the merits of any claims asserted by plaintiffs, nor does the court offer any opinion about the wisdom of Operation Metro Surge. I've read this to you a couple times. And the legality of many of the specific actions taken by federal agents during the operation is not before the court in this case. Instead, the court only decides whether to grant the extraordinary remedy of the preliminary injunction halting a federal law enforcement operation based upon the 10th Amendment. By the way, little shout out to all my 2A audience, all my 2A supporters and my 2A activists out there. They might recognize that the extraordinary remedy of the preliminary injunction. Does that language sound familiar? See how I've told you multiple times, all of you guys, I've said that the 2A community, specifically the gun rights orgs, the gun rights supporters, the gun rights people, they all have been through all of the trenches and the trials and the tribulations. All of this has been applied to them, and now they're using it in the broad space again. It's the exact same language, it's just applied to a different point. That's why I'm trying to build the bridges between both communities. This is really important. All right, let's keep on trucking. In answering this question, the court must view plaintiffs, Minnesota, claims through the lens of a specific legal framework they invoke, and having done so, finds the plaintiffs having not met their burden. For the reasons discussed below, the motion is denied. That means they got kicked right in the gonads. That's what that means. But let's keep on trucking, because there's some things, I swear, the LA Times, y'all, I mean, sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut. And in this case, they found a little bit of a nut. And why am I putting this in the immigration segment of this video? Well, you can figure this out. Watch this. Finally, the LA Times says, a renter's market. LA rent prices dropped to a 4-year low. Okay, come here. Guys, pause for dramatic sarcasm. What could have happened in Los Angeles over the last several months that could have caused a lowest rent in over 4 years? I couldn't imagine it would be less people. Like, is this really this difficult? It can't be this difficult. You have to try to be this stupid. Let's see. We have less people competing for the exact same resources. And the Los Angeles Times goes, finally, the rent's going down. I wonder what did that. I can't imagine that it would be 3 million people leaving the economic system. It has downward pressure on all prices. That's why all consumption is going down. That's why all consumables are going down. Gas, groceries, rent, mortgages, housing availability, all of it is going down. Well, housing availability is going up because prices are going down. This is the whole point. When you remove this many people who were here through an open border at the magical time of Biden's administration, pricing and livability goes all the way through the roof. You start evicting people and getting them out of the country to the tune of 3 million in 11 months, and all of a sudden prices are going down. And the LA Times is like, egads, what could have done it? You just can't make this crap up. All right, guys, if I'm landing this plane, let me hear in the comments, the chats, the emojis. In addition to supply and demand, in addition to supply and demand, Luna credits a few factors for the changing market. Last year, communities targeted by immigration officers, such as Long Beach and East LA, saw a jump in vacancies. Yo. Yeah, okay. This year, anxiety over the federal government and a wavering stock market is... Stock market. The stock market is literally at all-time high. What the hell are you talking about? Is making some people less secure in their finances, leading some tenants to move in with family or friends, leaving studio and one-bedroom apartments empty. At a certain point, you're trying. You're just trying to ignore the obvious. He said units that once set on the market for 3 to 5 days are sitting 3 to 5 weeks, and some landlords are offering move-in deals to attract tenants. That sounds like a healthy economic market. Weird. I can't imagine what would cause this to happen in Los Angeles. You know, a sanctuary city. Guys, my eyes are going to pop out of my head one of these days. I mean, like... Last year, communities targeted by immigration officers such as Long Beach and East LA saw a jump in vacancies. Can't imagine what that would be. Man, that is weird. I tell you what, at least there's no proof it's working. Oh my goodness gracious, guys, the sarcasm button needs to stay on for this one. Look at that from Homeland Security. The United States is experiencing negative net migration. In just 1 year, nearly 3 million illegal aliens have left the U.S. under the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration. U.S. population growth slows due to historic decline in net international migration. Well, I am flummoxed. That is weird. How could all of these things be happening at the exact same time? It's almost like there's a centralized catalyst that's causing the entire thing. I'll wait. They'll get it eventually. Or they could blame the shaky stock market. I swear, guys, sometimes I'm just like, what's happening? All right. Hey, gives me content all day long. Let's keep on trucking. And this coming from OSZ, Open Source Zone, has the proportions gone too far? Oh my goodness gracious. Of 1,000 registered voters, not far enough or about right. Guys, they wouldn't be lying to you, would they? They wouldn't. They couldn't. Perhaps. Maybe. They wouldn't do it to you, would they? They wouldn't drum up a lot of emotional spend on like paid agitators and paid rioters and a lot of money going to all the talking heads and all the, paid X accounts on X to flood the stairway or the airwaves in a way to give you a different perception of reality. Would they? They wouldn't. They can't. No, they wouldn't do that. Even on media? It's almost like a majority of the population's like, yeah, no, we voted to get them out. Why is this difficult? They're not having babies. They don't have any money. They're losing election they're losing election apportionment. They're losing representation in houses of Congress. They're losing the ability to have swing states. They've lost their blue wall. I can't imagine why they'd be freaking out. Y'all, please tell me I'm over the target on this one. Planes, targets, anything else you want to throw in the chat, the comments, let me know I'm doing something, because to me, this is clear as day. And of course, we're having fun together at the same time. And now we have come to the next break. This next one, guys, hold on. I think we're going to go look at the Kami Mamdani and get how he got his butt handed to him by Kathy Hochul. Yeah, that's where we're going in a second. Oh, it's so good. But y'all, listen. This is the whole point of this channel. I am trying to cut through the propaganda, and I spend a lot of effort and energy trying to deliver you content and then tying a bunch of different pieces together rather than do an individual ex post blast and all these little pieces. I try to aggregate it together to show you what is actually going on, because it is truly different. The amount of propaganda you are under is unprecedented. Seriously, the only time that I've seen any type of propaganda level equal or close to would be the Kamala Harris election. I mean, like her campaign, because they spent $2 billion in 6 weeks, and it was literally, I've never seen that level of propaganda. It was wild. And it also broke the Democrats, and they're still paying it off, and they're $16 million or $12 million. Yeah, $16 million in debt, and they have $12 million on hand. So it worked out great. But seriously, this is wild. Absolutely wild. All right, let's keep on going. We've got to take a trip up to the socialist utopia of Kami Mamdani. All right, listen, guys, who is in the mood to watch Kathy Hochul kick him right in the socialist gonads? All right, here we go. I showed you this on a prior video, but now there's been more developing. In fact, even Eric Adams is getting into the party and kicking him right in the proverbial gonads. I don't know why. I like that phrase. It's just a good phrase. And we have a super chat from JKC with a $100 super chat. Thank you very much. Said, thank you for connecting so many dots. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are all amazing. The comments, the chats, the emojis. 4,000 people in a live stream. That is worthy of note. And thank each of you for being here. All right, here we go. This is the one. This is the clip to set this up. And I love this more than anything you could imagine. Because one of my favorite things about watching socialist work is they're like a butterfly, right? They start out like a little caterpillar, and they're just like, oh, it's going to be so great. One day I'm going to be a beautiful little butterfly, and we're going to have amazing free buses, and everything's going to be free, and we're going to put rent controls in, and then we're just going to take property from landlords who are meanie pantses, and then we're going to have a great socialist union, and we're going to be this incredible place where there are no woes, everyone is equal in the crap, and it's going to be awesome. But while we'll be in crap, it'll still be equal crap. So you won't have jealous of somebody else's crap, but you will still be in crap. The guarantee of socialism. Okay, this is what he said, and this is one of my favorite things, because then they go into their little cocoon when they're elected, and they evolve as this big, beautiful butterfly, and they come out as a capitalist. Because Mamdani here is putting in place a chief savings officer in both. Thrice. Nope, all of them. All the executive bureaucracies and all of the entitlement programs in New York City, he's putting in a chief savings officer to deliver savings. How much do you think a chief savings officer gets paid? I'm going to find that out. I'll probably send Katie on a mission to find that out at some point once they do these. But I bet you they're probably going to increase the cost across all these bureaucracies by like $100,000, $200,000 per bureaucracy to find that chief savings officer. Because taking somebody who's already in those bureaucracies and sliding them into that role, existing salaries, wouldn't be fair. But that's more to come on that one. But this is when he created chief savings officers. Okay? Why would a socialist create a chief savings officer? Again, the word sunsetting is about to make an appearance. That just means cutting crap. Watch this.
45 days, those officers have to come back to us with a full assessment of the savings that could be pursued, the efficiencies that we're currently seeing, and the programs that frankly need to be sunsetted or are not effective.
Okay, so go ahead, put your John Hancock on that, and that will be...
Y'all, does this work? Can I just say, if I were to all of a sudden not be a capitalist and not be a conservative and not be oriented to the right side of the political spectrum, if I came out and said I was a communist and all I said was, I am allocating my political resources and all my emotional feelings towards the betterment of all, does that mean I'm not a communist anymore just because I said it flowery? I mean, I swear to you, it is wild. But let's continue. Kathy Hochul's about to kick him right in the, let's go with the liver, right in the liver. All right, this is his announcement that he made. And again, remember, he's laying everything at the feet of the prior administration. That's why they can't do free buses. That's why they can't get all the goodies. Watch this. And then Eric Adams, the prior mayor, is like, yeah, nah, bitch, that ain't happening. Watch this.
New York City is facing a serious fiscal crisis. There is a massive fiscal deficit in our city's budget to the tune of at least $12 billion. We did not arrive at this place by accident. This crisis has a name and a chief architect. In the words of the Jackson 5, it's as easy as ABC. This is the Adams budget crisis. In 2025, under New York City is facing.
Isn't that amazing how it's just like, well, we would have done the free buses and we would have done everything we told you we were going to, lied straight to your face, but we would have done it if that pesky Adams hadn't have done that thing, which then made us have no money. You know, that thing where they paid for and they gave all the gift cards and they gave all the hotels to all the illegal immigrants when Texas and Georgia just dumped them all off in New York City. Remember that? That was like a year and a half ago. I know it was like eons ago. But that's what brought them to this point because they decided to pay for all of it. So $12 billion, right? Okay. If you remember that story, let me hear in the comments in the chat because, again, poof, magic. It never happened. I swear, in today's day and age, if you have a memory longer than 3 years, you are like a sage. I swear. These people are like, they're like, I don't even know, some of the short memory, like a goldfish or something. All right, here we go. Eric Adams. He did not take kindly to that. Let me just tell you, he did not like that one bit. Now, this guy's a Democrat, the prior mayor of New York City. In case anyone was wondering, this was the real motive behind today's press conference, talking about what I just showed you, right? Mayor Mamdani promised a laundry list of free giveaways to buy votes. Ooh. Yee. With no plan to pay for them. Yeah, we covered that. It was like, we're just going to imagine it to happen. Now that the math doesn't work, instead of owning the fact that he misled New Yorkers, he's blaming me. Let's be clear. I left him over $8 billion in reserves. Uh-oh. Where'd that go? This is the same Mamdani who spent years attacking me for not spending enough during the migrant crisis. Remember the migrant crisis where they just shipped all the migrants from Texas and all the border states to New York and Illinois? Remember that? The only reason those reserves exist is because I ignored him and his socialist comrades who demanded we blow billions more with no guardrails. Free isn't free, it's just someone else's bill to pay. I mean, like, that is actually really, really well said. And then he puts all this stuff up where it's actually...
Eric Adams, New York City.
Okay, hold on a second. That's Mamdani when he was in full-on pajama mode. Let me zoom in on this because I want to show you what he said. And this is Eric Adams posting this, by the way. When the socialists are getting eaten alive by the almost socialist, it's a thing. Let's get back to the beginning of this. Watch this. So on the left over here, Ben Max, New York City DSA, Democrat Socialist of America, if you're not tracking that, and other partners organized to rally 10,000 people to go to Albany on February 25th to push to tax the rich to fund Mamdani's agenda, close city budget gaps, etc. Okay. Let's see what Zoran said when he was in full-on pajama mode before he became socialist butterfly mode. Watch this. Oh yeah, audio.
The promise of this city. A mayor who sees a migrant crisis and thinks that the answer is tent cities. Tent cities that are built by the same contractor that Donald Trump hired to build the wall. Tent cities that migrants are saying remind them exactly of the same sites that we lambast when we see them in Texas. So we are here to say it is unacceptable in Texas, it is unacceptable in New York, and it is unacceptable in any place where there is a conscience. To this mayor, let us be clear, there are real solutions to this crisis. Because if we went by what you wanted to do, this kind of rain could be flooding your answer to it. Yes! What we need instead is to eliminate the 90-day waiting period. To open up city FEPs to our undocumented brothers and sisters and family beyond the pine.
All right. So you got to open up everything to your undocumented brothers and sisters that Texas and everyone just shipped there. That's what you got to do? Okay. Well, now they're talking about reimagining relationships with Albany. Remember that? Well, this is what Kathy Hochul said to that. I absolutely love this for every second and every moment of its worth, because this is the perfect way to culminate this point. As we go through this woman asked Kathy Hochul, hey, Mayor Mamdani wants more money from Albany to raise taxes. And remember that thing that you and I said, you know, we're going to big screen for this, and then I'll do the final reveal here. Remember that thing where all the conservatives and all the independents and all the Republican-leaning people were thinking, hey, if you keep taxing people, the corporations and the rich people are just going to leave? And we were told, no, they won't. They love New York. They love California. They love everything. By the way, completely don't look at the Electoral College map and all the numbers. It's a poof, gone, right? Again, hence the magic trick. But then you look at this, and all of a sudden, it's weird. Take it away, Kathy.
So Mayor Mamdani has said that he doesn't think that wealthy people and corporations would actually leave if their taxes go up. Do you disagree with that?
It's not a gamble I want to take, because we're already down about $13 billion in revenues from people who did leave our state. And when asked, many of them do complain about the taxes in New York, something I'm trying to do something about.
So
now, hold on. I thought that they would absolutely stay. Because obviously, if you just keep on getting just whipped by the tax man over and over and over again, and it's given out to a unsustainable situation in New York through, like, you know, things like sanctuary cities and over endowments and in entitlement programs. But don't worry, they've got chief savings officers now. Why would you stay there when you have other states that are offering you much better tax incentives? Why would you not move your corporation, your business, and your individual's household? Why would you not do that? It doesn't make any sense on any planet. To stay there to be a virtuous person? Yeah, nah, screw that crap. No, people don't do that. In fact, if you look at people, which is the main issue is socialism, because people, she says it right there. That's not a gamble that I want to take, because we're already down $13 billion in revenues from people who did leave. That's not a gamble. That's a guarantee. You've got a well-known, proven fact that if you raise taxes, people leave because they can't operate or live there anymore. And she's going, well, I don't want to take that gamble. It's like, no, it's not a gamble. You've already lost $13 billion in revenues. It just happens to be the same number that they're short in New York. Oh, magic. Woo, ha. It's amazing. Look, for my next trick, they raise taxes, they're going to lose more people, which means they lose more revenue, which means they lose more jobs, which means they lose more revenue. This is not hard. There's a certain level where people will put up with being taxed and overtaxed and undertaxed, and you're getting real close to the point where you'll lose even more, because now there's negative net returns. The more you raise taxes, the more you actually lose. It's almost like the Laffer curve from the Ronald Reagan era is real. I don't know. Maybe I'm way out there in left field, but you guys can tell me in the comments and the chats and the emojis. Did I miss anything over there? Was it fun in the chat? Would you guys hold up your deputized duty? Was there a squabble I needed to sort out? What I need to do, let me know in the comments, the chats, and the emojis. If you enjoy the content, if I seen landing planes, I'll know I did it right. Over the target, of course. You know I love each and every one of you, just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. Thank you so much for going through the roller coaster with me that was today, and I will see you guys on the next one. More freedom to distribute tomorrow, like Johnny Appleseed with a full auto, and we are going to do it every single day. I'll see you on the next one.